Hello, everybody. Thanks and welcome to our joint webinar today. We're very happy and excited to have you with us. Today, we're going to be presenting modernizing your Sage 300 workflow with Kormoski Associates. We'll have Bill on with us in a moment. A little bit of housekeeping just before we begin. We will be recording this webcast and it will be available on the RedTeam events page shortly after the webinar is over. Also, everyone will be muted and the chat feature will be disabled. So please use the Q&A function for all of your questions. We love questions, so don't hold back. We're very excited today to be presenting this with our newest silver partner, Bill Kormoski Associates, Bill. So in terms of agenda, today we're going to go over introductions, a little talk about Bill and his organization, a little overview of RedTeam and our product, then we're going to dive right into a demo by one of our lead subject matter experts, Cynthia. In terms of introductions, Cynthia is a long-term construction professional. She joined RedTeam a while back after being in the construction industry as a project manager and a leader, also as a RedTeam product user. She has tremendous insight into our products and how it helps our clients manage their businesses most effectively. Bill Kormoski is I'll let Bill explain who he is and what his organization does in the next slide, but he is our co-presenter and joint sponsor of this particular webinar. My name is Ray Ranella. I manage the Alliances and Channel program for Sage. So I'm for RedTeam. So I'm very excited to be here today with our partner as well as with all of you. And Michael Wright will be joining us a little later today. He's had a conflict. Michael is the founder of our company and the chairman of our board right now. Bill, do you want to take a few moments and talk a little bit about you and your organization?
Sure. Just by looking at the attendees list so far, I think most of you guys know me, but we've been around for almost 30 years now, primarily Sage 300 CRE consulting, data mining, report writing, everything Sage 300 CRE. So welcome you all here.
Thanks, Bill. And there's Mike. Mike, you want to talk a little bit about yourself? Mike, right there. I think you're still muted, Mike. Mike is our founder and chairman of the board. Anyway, let's continue. About RedTeam. Mike founded RedTeam in 2006 after being a general contractor for more than 20 years. He's got tremendous experience in the industry, understands the challenges construction industries faced, and came up with the RedTeam product to solve many of those challenges, which has evolved into a world-class leading software solution today. Currently, we are ranked as one of the greatest leaders in the industry by a great number of industry publications. We offer a comprehensive and robust software solution for managing construction in the industry with over 500,000 active users in place today. And we provide a complete suite of construction management solutions. Our products are RedTeam Flex, which is what we're going to focus on today, RedTeam Go, and Field Lens by RedTeam, providing a broad suite of solutions to general contractors at all sizes in the industry. The key features of RedTeam Flex, I'll talk about it just in a very, very brief manner. It's project management and control, financial management, document control, and team collaboration, all to enhance the construction process and better manage your businesses. Today, we're excited to show you and talk a little bit about automation, which we think is really key to advancing your business and growing your businesses. Our solution manages contracts and commitments all in one software platform. We let you communicate information about without the use of personal emails, ensuring that data is properly and accurately captured. And RedTeam will automate your processes, allowing your team to manage more projects with much more less effort. with that, I'm going to turn this over to Cynthia and ask her to show you exactly how RedTeam Flex can help you automate your business. Cynthia?
Hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Cynthia, and I am happy to share our 3 platforms with you. I'm going to start with a brief overview of RedTeam Flex, which offers robust financial capabilities. I know that, with Flex, you can also use Sage 300. They are 2 platforms that can be integrated together. And this gives you the ability for project managers to be able to manage all of their projects here in a cloud-based environment, while at the same time, accounting can still use Sage 300 for their daily activities. And the project managers don't need to knock on accounting's door anymore to see what's the status of an invoice that's pending payment, because they may have a subcontractor on the phone asking the status of their payment, etc. This is what you see when you first log into the platform. All of these modules come included in the subscription. If you are a project manager and you're first logging into RedTeam, right here, you'll be able to see any invoices that need approval or expenses. And any invoices that are approved by the project manager will feed right into Sage 300. Invoices can be routed electronically by using this dashboard here and entering vendor invoices. Those are tied to the project. And even if you don't have a commitment on file, because let's say you have a dumpster or portalet, you don't have a PO, you just want to tag that invoice to the project, you can go ahead and do that here in the system. Accessing our vendor menu. This is one of the highlights whenever you integrate Sage 300 with RedTeam, because project managers have a lot of functional features here inside of this vendor menu, which, by the way, integrates with Sage 300. So things like investigating to see how many subcontracts this company has had with your company historically is something that the project managers can see here. So if they're doing an estimate and some numbers are coming in late and they really need to plug in a number for the scope of work, they can historically see how much the same scope was performed in the past and just plug in a number and then later on negotiate with the subcontractor on the subcontractor price. We can also manage in here, see all of the vendor invoices that we have received, not only for this company, but company-wide. We can see how many invoices we've received and print out a accounts payables aging. We can also see what project managers have invoices left to approve. So all of these items are accessible right here in the platform. We could also track things like credentials in here. Credentials are anything that you require for your subcontractors to have when doing business with you. So this could mean a W-9, certificates of insurance, could also mean things like a master agreement that you want on file, or even access badges if you need to require those from subcontractors. And so these are present in different workflows of our system. We can see which subcontractors have these credentials up to date when we're sending out a subcontract. So even before we send it out, we can require those items. Or we could also require those items when we are receiving those invoices and we are in the approval process. And I will show you what a invoice workflow looks like. Let me click on this one. This is where we enter vendor invoice details. We also have an application where subcontractors can enter invoices using their own portal. That's an option as well. We can track job cost. We can add multiple cost codes to the same subcontract or multiple line items to the same subcontract with the same cost code. But when those invoices are being received, we can track those invoices against that schedule of values that we created in the subcontract agreement. In this case, we have 2 line items, and we can see here that we can track amounts or even percentages, which we can't see on this page because I've already processed this invoice out, but I kind of want to give you an example of what it looks like. The project manager can accept or dispute this invoice. Later on, step 3 is verifying credentials. So if you didn't track those credentials during the subcontract process, we can, again, like I said, track it in here inside of the invoice approval. We can track lien waivers. And finally, when the invoice is approved by the project management team, even the superintendent can be added as a person to approve invoices before the PM receives it. But after everyone is done approving the invoice, including the accounting department, that can be sent directly into Sage 300 for disbursement. Other workflows we have in here are inside of the projects. And before I dive into a project briefly, I wanted to show you this right here. We have a work in progress tab where we can see all of the projects that we have in progress. We can see the contract revenue amounts, billing, whether we're underbilled, overbilled, the backlog. Here we could also filter by customer, by manager, and we can export this out. So if you have projects that maybe require bonding, typically those companies want your list of work in progress. So you can print this out and it's ready to be sent to your bonding company. All right, I'm going to go ahead and dive inside of a project. What's nice about RedTeam Flex is that this program, actually all of our programs, are built specifically for commercial general contractors. We don't service any other market. And so all of the items we have in here are geared towards those companies. We have workflows for creating a subcontract. I just navigated to my subcontract page. And if I click on this one, I just want to edit to show you the workflow. We guide the project managers on the steps that they need to take to create a subcontract. The vendors are integrated with Sage 300. After that, they'll select or enter any contract terms, enter the scopes and services, aka schedule of values. They can also enter the description of each of these scopes of work. This is where they can verify credentials, maybe request submittals, add attachments, and finally send it on to the subcontractor for signature.
Cynthia,
So
if I could just add one thing to that.
Yes, sir.
The thing that's really distinctive about creating a commitment in RedTeam is that we are actually instrumenting the future workflows based upon how you actually create that subcontract agreement or that purchase order or an agreement for temporary labor or equipment rental. All of the credentials associated with those commitments drive the process in the future so that your team is only collecting and validating the credentials appropriate for that particular agreement. And so you don't have to blanket the process on a project anymore. You're actually doing the work, only the work that's required based upon the terms and conditions of that particular agreement.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. All right. So that was a very brief overview of RedTeam, very brief. I definitely recommend you checking out a complete demo, maybe requesting one online when you get a chance. This platform that you're seeing right now is our RedTeam Go platform. And although it doesn't integrate with Sage 300, it is something that can help you manage your projects side by side with Sage 300. So we can export a lot of the items from here. Last but not least is Field Lens. And this is where project managers, superintendents, they love this application. We can track activities and even pin punch list items to the drawings. safety items, submittals, RFIs, and this is an entire ecosystem where subcontractors, the owner, the GC, the architect, engineer can all collaborate in the same place. This one does integrate with RedTeam Flex, which integrates with Sage 300. Reports that can be generated from Field Lens are emailed to the project manager weekly, showing anything that's open inside of Field Lens platform. All righty, Ray. I think that was a very brief overview there of the 3 platforms.
Ray, I think you're muted.
Muted. Thank you, Cynthia. Let me
No problem.
open up. Let me share my presentation. There we go. It was hiding there. Let's take a few questions at this point, and I'll open this up to Bill, Cynthia, or to Mike. The first question I see here is, do invoices need to be routed inside of RedTeam? We want to use Sage for vendor invoices.
Yeah, so, oh, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I'll take that. And so our integration with Sage 300, just to be clear, gives you a lot of options. You can continue processing invoices inside Sage 300. Alternatively, you can utilize the cloud extended workflows that RedTeam provides to actually obtain those invoices from your vendors, route them for approval, validate them by the project team all before they get inserted into Sage. So it's a completely optional process for your team. So you can definitely use, and you can also do a hybrid. So you could, for example, use RedTeam to route and approve disbursements against your subcontract agreements, but continue to process some non-commitment invoices directly inside of Sage. All those costs incurred, all those job costs posted inside Sage will synchronize with the job cost reporting on the RedTeam side. And so at all times, your operations teams have all the information they need, all the financial information they need to manage the projects without having to go to the accounting department or to log into Sage and run a report from Sage. They have all the information they need, and they can get everything they need on their own volition inside the RedTeam platform.
Yep. Thanks, Mike. Any other comments about that? All right. Another question just came in. If we want to replace the PJ model in Sage with RedTeam, is that possible?
Absolutely, that is possible. So all of the financials, like Michael said, can be kept inside of Sage 300 and managed inside of Sage 300, and we can offer a replacement for the PJ module alone with RedTeam Flex.
And I'll just add something to that. One of the advantages to doing that is that RedTeam, because RedTeam, much of the functionality we provide is to actually create all of those contract documents. And so when you're talking about PJ, oftentimes you're talking about the relationship that contractors have with project owners. And RedTeam does create all of those contract agreements and proposals and change orders. And it also allows the complete workflow to negotiate and execute those agreements online. And then the executed versions of those documents get stored inside the platform, along with all of the metadata associated with the negotiation and execution process. And so RedTeam does have really the best single source proof of exactly what the agreement is with the client. And so all of that can be kept natively inside the RedTeam platform, and simply the information necessary to process the accounting is sent to Sage 300.
Great. Thanks, Mike and Cynthia. I have another question that came in. This is a good one. Does RedTeam Flex offer electronic signatures? This is important.
We have an integration with DocuSign. So if you have a DocuSign account, we can integrate the two systems together.
Yeah, and I'll add also to that our team player feature, which allows subcontractors to submit their bills electronically for routing and approval inside the RedTeam platform. That does allow for electronic signatures on the AIA applications for payment that are produced by team player on behalf of subcontractors and other vendors.
Actually, that's one of the exciting things to me is that people currently, when they're using PJ, having to produce the documents, send them out. Somebody has to physically sign it because it's typically not a signable document. Even if it's a PDF, it has to be altered in some way to make it a real signed document. And so that's one of the exciting things to me about this whole process with RedTeam.
Yeah, one way, I think that's a great point. One way to visualize the utilization of RedTeam with a platform like Sage 300, you can think of Sage 300 almost like a back office platform. What RedTeam does, it extends all those workflows out into the field, into the hands of people who are actually collaborating and doing the work day in and day out. And so instead of sending documents back to the office to be entered into a system there, what RedTeam does is it actually captures the day-to-day collaboration, as well as all of the contractual negotiations and executions, and then it synchronizes all that information back with Sage 300.
That's powerful stuff. All right, I've got another question here. Will this webinar be recorded so we can share with others? The answer is I can answer that one. Yes, we're happy to share this to spread the good word. Once again, it'll be on our events page at redteam.com, but we'll also make arrangements to send links to see it to everyone who participated and registered. Any other questions? Oh, okay, here we go. We have another question. Does RedTeam support processing credit cards? Who wants to take that?
I'm not quite sure what processing credit cards means. We do support the use of company credit cards by employees. So to the extent that you assign company credit cards or allow employees to utilize company credit cards, we do provide complete workflows around the usage of those cards, the capturing of receipts associated with those transactions, and then the synchronization of that information in RedTeam with Sage 300.
Terrific. I hope that answered your question. We have another question that just came in. What does it cost owners and subcontractors to use the GC's RedTeam?
I can answer that too. It cost nothing. And so RedTeam is built
That's great.
based on this notion that people outside your organization don't necessarily want to have login credentials and log into another system. And so it's built so that you can utilize email messaging to send and receive information from the platform. And so the people that you're collaborating with essentially don't know necessarily that all this information is being maintained on a comprehensive platform. They simply see that they're receiving and sending email back to you. But you're keeping all that information on a single platform, not just the information, but the metadata associated with that information. And metadata simply tells you things like how many times a message was opened and read. Very important when understanding the chain of custody of information as it flows through a project.
That's tremendous. We have time for a few more questions. Anybody else have any burning questions to ask us? We got the experts here today.
We didn't get a question about other systems that RedTeam integrates with, and the Flex system that we looked at initially, that does also integrate with Sage 100 and Sage Intacct and other systems as well. The power of running a single integration solution with these various accounting systems is it also gives users flexibility, if they choose to do so, to move from one platform to another platform very easily without impacting any of the jobs in progress. And so if you think about your organizations and you think about the prospect of moving from one accounting system to another, it can be pretty frightening, actually, just thinking about the impact to jobs in progress. With RedTeam, once the jobs are running on the RedTeam platform and the system is synchronized to Sage 300, just as an example, we can disconnect Sage 300 and reconnect it to a platform like Sage Intacct with zero impact to the two projects. We did get another question. Does RedTeam support Acumatica? Yes, Acumatica is another one of the platforms that RedTeam Flex integrates with.
Thank you for the questions. I have a question I'd like Mike to possibly address for a moment, and that is document management. Maybe could you talk a little bit more about contract management, the automation of documents back and forth between the general contractor and the subs and the owners?
Absolutely. So one of the things Cynthia demonstrated was the process of creating a subcontract agreement. And you can imagine that's something that could save a lot of time because we're automatically incorporating all of the plans and specifications, and all the things that have to be incorporated by reference are automatically connected to that contract agreement as it's actually produced inside the RedTeam platform. I did describe how we instrument workflows downstream based upon the options and the types of requirements inserted into that agreement. But one of the more important capabilities that RedTeam provides is something called a collaborative console. And so when an agreement such as a subcontract agreement is created in the platform, when that's shared with a counterparty, it allows a counterparty to actually open up a draft version of that document and capture, and it allows you to capture the back and forth communication, all the negotiation of the various terms and conditions in the agreement, and capture and memorialize that in a way that it keeps those communications with the executed contract once that contract is fully executed. And that could be done via DocuSign. DocuSign is a partner with RedTeam. And so a lot of our clients will utilize DocuSign to actually sign the agreements. But we also support a manual signature process for those folks that want to remain old school in the way they actually sign their contracts. And we keep all that information on a single platform. And the collaborative console capability is available not just for commitments like subcontracts and purchase orders, but also it's available for change proposals and change orders. And really every document that ultimately becomes a contract document that is produced by the RedTeam platform, you can collaborate with your counterparties, capture the negotiation process, and memorialize the executed document with all that history inside the platform.
That's fantastic. So what we're saying is we really streamline the paperwork process, taking out the email back and forth that could potentially lose documents and deal with issues of versioning and that sort of thing, and fully automate that communications process. Excellent. Well, at this point, we don't have any more questions. I'll give anybody another 15 seconds if they have one other or two other things. We've got a little time here to go over this. In the meantime, while we're waiting, if you see anything that you really want to explore with us, please reach out to Bill and his organization. You all have emails from Bill. Bill will coordinate demos, meetings, explanations, discovery calls with us to help identify exactly how our solution can benefit your company. We look very much forward to speaking with you, each of you, as appropriate. So please reach out to Bill. And I want to thank everybody, Cynthia, Bill, and Mike, for participating in today's session. I hope you guys found it as informative as I have. We will be doing more of these in the future. So I want to thank everybody for taking time out of your busy day to join us today. If we don't have any other questions or comments from our panel, I think we can close down this session today.
Just want to thank everybody. Thanks.
Thanks,
right.
Bill. Good seeing
Well,
you.
thank you very much, and we look forward to speaking with everyone in the future.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Thanks.
Go on,
Bye.
yeah.